getting ready to do a little video down in Little Ruby, and that little buck walked right by the window. And I was in here, I was in the closet, so I shut the closet door. He didn't even jump. But a cute little thing. Huh? Sees something now or hears it. Hi, fella. Not too nervous. We'll see how long that little buck stays here. But good evening. I thought I'd do a little video about basic packing for camping. I've been camping supposedly since I was 2 months old, so my whole life I've been camping. And started in campers, and, well, probably started in tents, and we did a lot of tent camping too, even after we got campers and trailers, and all that, because we were in a Jeep club, and a lot of the stuff we did was rough camping, so we pulled a Jeep, a trailer behind the Jeep, and had a tent and coolers and all the necessities in it, and then we would, like, over the course of 4 or 5 days or a week, we would spend the night in different spots and on Jeep trails, and, you know, Jeep to the next location. So, but yeah, so, you know, and I think almost everybody that starts camping at some point has camped in a tent, and then probably upgraded to a camper or a small trailer, possibly a camping van, and then gotten into the larger camp trailers, fifth wheels, class A, B, C, whatever, however many classes there are now, super B's, super C's. So yeah, anyways, so what I'm going to talk about is just basic camping things, no matter what rig or what camping you're doing, car camping now, nomadic camping, and the overlander stuff. There's still things that no matter what rig you have, you would want to take with you. So I have a couple lists, and shut my iPad off. Don't need that on. I have a couple lists of things that I do. Pull that up. I have. Where did my little ones go? So every time I go somewhere and I see a really cool list, like, okay, I'll take that one and I'll compare it to the one I've used for years. I have things that I do to the RV, the trailer, or whatever, when I'm getting ready to move it, and I have inventory lists of what stays in Little Ruby or the different trailers. But today I'm talking about more what if you were just going to decide to go camping tomorrow and wanted to have the necessities, the things you shouldn't leave home without. So obviously your camping vehicle would be the number one, and whether that's a tent, but if it's a tent, do you have tent stakes and a hammer to put the tent stakes in, a rain fly or a tarp, a rope to tie things down in case it gets windy. Along with tent travel, you would also need a blow-up mattress or sleeping pads or cots, and then you need a sleeping bag. But then, okay, you need a sleeping bag if you're in any rig, or blankets and stuff like that. So the stuff I'm going to talk about is going to pertain to everything. So obviously, I just said the first few: sleeping bags, blankets, pillows, your linens, basically, your bed linens, your sheets, your beddies, if you use those. Little Ruby's beds are odd size, so I can't use the current size of beddies. They're not custom making them. I usually have beddies in every RV, and anything bigger than a full-size bed I have Betty's on. They do make a twin, but this is a twin and a half, and that's not quite a twin. So that is just my seat trifold thing pulled out, and it's about 3 inches narrower than a twin. And so the Betty's saggy on it, and then they don't make one. This is basically what the size of mattress that truckers use in their sleeper cabs. And this platform slides out all the way to the cabinet if I want it, but I like my little ledge for my water at night and my little trash can there. So when I got it all said and done and figured out about where I wanted it, I got online to see different mattress sizes so I didn't have to have a custom mattress made. And where it's at right now fit a trucker's, it's basically a twin and 3/4, no, twin and a half. So twin sheets will fit it, they're tight. So I usually get full size and they're tucked in back here. But because the twin is just tight, like a drum skin. So, okay, so your linens or whatever. But I'm going to start at the very top because the very first two things you should have in whatever vehicle you're driving at any time, and that's a fire extinguisher and a first aid kit. That should be with you no matter where you are, if you're at home, if you're in a vehicle, or camping, or, you know, going to the store. You should have a fire extinguisher for sure in your vehicle. If you have a motor in it, this is summertime, things catch fire, things overheat. So you would want to be able to get to one. And there's a fire extinguisher under my front window in Ruby. It's mounted, permanently mounted. All I have to do is flip the latch. It's in my hand. There's also always one in my truck. If I go on big trips, I take a second one and put it in the truck. I've looked into it, I haven't gotten those fireballs that you, if this was on fire and I open the door, you roll them in, and supposedly the heat makes them go, and they have this extinguisher, what do they call that? Anyways, it puts the fire out, like with the powder. They call them fireballs. I do have a fire blanket, and it's in the truck right now. Never used one, but I also have one in the house. They're good for grease fires, I guess. So, but they're pretty cool. You can get all that stuff on Amazon. Pretty much get whatever you want on Amazon. So those two things are top of the list. First aid kit. I would put fire extinguisher first, and then first aid kit. But the two should be with you. So along basics, you want camping chairs. You want a way to sit outside and be comfy. Not every place you go to, especially if you're boondocking, you're not going to always have a picnic table. So bring some kind of table, you know, if it's the little tables or like the camping chairs now with the flip-up side table. At least you have a place to set your drink or your plate or a radio or whatever, or your phone, or but some kind of table, along with some comfy chairs, lounge chairs too. I've gotten into the deal, you know, I used to always go with a chair for me, a chair for every person, but you're always sitting in that chair. And some of the camping chairs, I tend to get wherever I'm going, I end up sitting sideways. I either put my feet underneath me, or I sit sideways with my legs over the rail. I don't sit real good if my back gets sore. So I'm taking a lounge chair that I have with me now. And so I'll sit in the camp chair around the campfire, but I have the lounge chair when I'm out under the awning or under a tree or reading a book. Just, it's more comfy. I put my feet up. So you want a hard-sided cooler, or Ruby's got one, a little electric fridge freezer type thing. But back to the hard-sided coolers, and I'll use this just because it's a style to me more than it is a brand, but the Yeti style coolers, those really thick insulated ones, everybody makes them now. I have a I have the hard side one with a strap. It's about that deep. I don't know. It stays in my truck. It's red. It's right behind my driver's seat. It always has drinks in it, whether I'm camping or when I was working as a realtor. I always had drinks in there, always water and stuff I could give people. It's always in my truck. So that's always in there, and when we go camping, that's kind of the main place where I put the drinks I like. Because if we go with the kids and I'm getting Capri Suns and little cartons of chocolate milk or whatever, you know, there's always a cooler just for drinks, and there's a cooler just for the perishable foods that you have to keep cold. And along with the coolers, and I like those style because the ice lasts longer. I rarely buy bags of ice except for the drink cooler, and only because I put some around the drink so it gets all around the cans, and they're okay in the water. But any food, I don't like soaking in water as the ice melts. So I take those plastic ice cream tubs and freeze them with the lid. I have 2 or 3 of those. I also have 3 or 4 milk jugs, the 1-gallon milk jugs, and so I take those. And if we don't need the water while we're out, when we come back from that trip, they go right back into the chest freezer in the barn. They refreeze, and every once in a while I dump them out. I usually end up using the water. What I like about the big ones is they're great for, they can water the dogs. You take the lid off, and they're just a bucket, basically. The dogs can drink that, or you could wash with it if you had to. It gives you a container that's open on the top. The milk jugs, obviously, you know, they have that little spout that you pour out of, and but still, I have sanitized these jugs, these same jugs that I use, so long. There's, you know, no milk taste or anything in them, and so we'll use it, make coffee or whatever. It's our well water. It's the same water that's in the holding tank. It's the same water that we drink in the house. So yeah, so we use it, and I'll definitely use it for like making coffee and tea and stuff like that. So I heard a vehicle. Huh. Maybe they turned around in our driveway. Okay, so anyway, so you need your water. Along with water jugs, I have the little, they look like miniature jugs that you used to turn upside down and put on your, what was the name of those? Culligan's water or whatever, or Arrowhead water, those container things that everybody had in their kitchens. And when we lived, before we moved to the country and had wells when I was real little, we lived in the city outside of Los Angeles, in West Covina, and we didn't like the water, and so my dad would buy that. We had to drink the water out of that other thing. But those big jugs, well, they make small ones that look just like them. And I have 3 of those, and so I don't freeze those. I don't ever freeze those. I could, but when I go on trips where I'm boondocking, I take 3. I can't lift real big, heavy stuff now, because I also have 2 of those blue. They're square. I think they're 5 gallons, and I can't. When I take those, I fill them like half full. They're not full. I can still move them around. If I put 5 gallons of water in it, my back would not take lifting that thing. So I fill them a little over half, probably 3 gallons, and I'll take those. I usually make John move them around. They usually stay in the back of my truck if I need them. They got nice spouts on them and stuff. I do like them. I like them for filling the dog water bowls, yeah, if I need to, before the other things melt. But these, I've got this one plugged in right now because our last camping trip, but you know, you put this on one of those Culligan water jugs. It works in my little antique thermos style thing, but then you push the button. It's not charged. I literally just started charging it like right before I started this video, and the water comes out, and then they're handy in one hand. So put this back on the charger. So those things are great. Anything that makes the camping experience easier. You know, there's a lot of gadgets now that are phenomenal. And I get into gadgets, so I have quite a few. But again, this is more basics and probably the only gadget I'm going to talk about. Well, maybe you see something else I'll probably mention. But this is more about things that you would just have, everybody would have, and you need to have with you if you're going to go camping. Think if you're going to rent an RV for the weekend and it has nothing in it, this would be the basics that you would want to take. So, okay, so we did water. And that brings me to the next thing. I'll probably, you want flashlights, solar lights. Of course, they've gotten big. I love these things. I have them. They're just solar lanterns. They too are rechargeable. I probably recharged this last year sometime because when I'm out camping on any camping trip, I put it outside. It's also solar. So that's the only time I ever charged them. The charger should be in the bag. Yep. And it's just a USB thing. Was when I first got them, because from then on I put them out. They're out all the time. Usually hang from Little Ruby's awning. I've got two in her, one on each side. And this, we use this a bunch on the last couple, but they're super bright, and they go dimmer, and then they go, and they blink. So this is a great, you know, SOS type thing. Of course you guys, and then they deflate and go back in the bag if you want them to. So of course I can't do it. I just cut my nail. Okay, and then you just, well, it's not working. Oh, it closed again. Man, there we go. That's some suction. And then you just flatten them. And back in the bag if you want. I never put it back in the bag, but it's with the bag usually. So there's that. So lighting, and you know, flashlight still works. Of course, there's all kinds of LED stuff like that too, and solar. I have the solar flashlight that you shake too, or you can set it out in the sun. It's got a little solar panel on it. It's not in this rig right now. John has it in his hunting backpack because he's doing some scouting, and just in case if he got out at night, he carries a headlamp. They're great camping too because they're on your, usually wearing a hat when you're out camping, and you can put those headlamps on. You got them with you, and if you look down, you can see down. So they're handy too. That's another good thing to have. Bug spray. I always carry at least one. I've had this one a couple of years. Citronella candle. Bug spray. The other thing I like is those, I think they're in here. Yeah, these wrist things. I get these at the dollar store. And I take them off at night, put them back in the package. I open a new one every camping trip. But there's probably 6 or 10 of them in here. There's 3. I know there's some in there too. And there's probably even one in here. The one that I wore last, that's on my makeup thing there. And, stubbed my toe. But yeah, they're handy. I've got regular bug spray too. I don't use DEET. I don't like DEET, so I also use doTERRA TerraShield. I use that for me. And it smells like a bug spray. It's just aerosol. Spray it on. I won't use the DEET stuff. But on John, nothing works but the DEET stuff. So yeah, bug spray. And then a knife. Swiss Army knife, pocket knife, Leatherman tool, something. I've had to use the Leatherman tool, the pliers on it to get stickers out of the dog's paws before cactus. down in Quartzsite. I've had to do that a couple times. A power bank. I have the Blue Eddies. There's 3 in here. One there, one over there. To keep your cell phones charged, your electronics. Don't let your cell phone go dead when you're out camping, even if you don't have cell service, because in an emergency, you want to be able to, even if you don't have service where you're at, jump in your vehicle, drive somewhere, hike to the top of the mountain, get a call out. And what came real valuable to me on the last camping trip, 2 camping trips ago, sorry, when the tree fell on my truck, I had no cell service, and my truck was behind the tree, and I wanted to call John and tell him about it. I had no cell service, but the phones now have the satellite, and that was the first. I had already used it a couple nights before to call John at night, because he was still here at home. I'm actually at home right now, not camping, but he was here at home, and was coming up 2 days after I went up with little Ruby and the dogs. I just wanted to get away, and it was hot down here and windy, and he was still working, and I wasn't, so I went up on Wednesday. The tree fell on my truck Friday morning. He was coming up Friday afternoon. But I went outside. Probably won't do it in here, because I'm probably on the Wi-Fi, but if any of you have not used, if you have a, this is a 15, if you have a iPhone 14 or newer, it might be a 12 or newer, I'll have to look into that. The last couple upgrades ago, it's kind of a beta thing right now, at least it was on the first upgrade. It might be on everything now, but it's on the upgrade, and you go outside, and if I hit text, I can't get it to do it because it's picking up the Wi-Fi. I'd have to probably shut the Wi-Fi off. But you pick up the satellite, and it'll say satellite slightly left, and pretty soon this little green light lines up and connects, and you can text. You can't call, you can't do anything else, but you can get a message out. I heard the next version is going to allow calls too, but like timed out, but emergency calls. So you would be able to say, hey, I broke down, or hey, I fell off the side of the hiking trail and I'm here. And also with the satellite, it reads the GPS. So, or will, at least on the calls. I think it's already doing that though. I also have an inReach. I will always have an inReach, because cell phones do go dead. And we're hunters, and we go hiking, and we split up and check out different ridges and stuff. And even if you're not split up, but I have an inReach, and John has one, and it's always in whatever vehicle I have. And these things are fabulous. I take it on the kayak, because again, he'll be shore fishing, and I'll be out on my kayak, and I'll go around, go out of view from him, up a couple coves, and I'm not as big of a fisherman. I just like to paddle, and so I explore, and I'll get out, and if Rye's with me, because she rides in the Cadillac, in the kayak with me, and we'll get out and play and stuff. But this is always charged. It has a waterproof case too that I put it in on the kayak, and I've had to use it to just, stay in touch with him. One time it got super windy, and I had been sick, and I didn't have a whole lot of energy. Probably shouldn't have gone out. It got windy. I was on fighting the wind to get back across, and I was trying to get a message to him to where the spare key was in my truck, and to come get me, and it worked, so stuff like that. I mean, I could have paddled. It would have taken me forever. But, yeah, I'll always carry an inReach. I don't care if they even become old technology. I have a newer one. John has the original one. Mine's a year old, so it's newer than his. It does a couple extra things, but basically the same thing. We have the minis. And, of course, any Garmin or, that kind of thing. It doesn't have to be an inReach. I like these just because of what they do. I can get weather reports. They're just handy. So, yeah, I like that too. And then the other thing under the basics is some kind of blanket, picnic blanket. And, you know, if you have chairs and a picnic table, you probably don't need a blanket. But I kind of like that idea. And I always carry, moving blankets are really good for that. So there's always one folded up in that front compartment under that bed. And with a bucket, there's a few things I always carry in there. Stuff you hardly ever need, but if you need them, they're underneath that. A cast iron outdoor cooking one that I use over coals. And my battery's under there too. Yeah, things like that. So, okay. So then toiletries. You want to always use biodegradable soap if you're out in the woods. You know, I use the Murphy's. I also use the Bonner's. Yeah, Myers. This is Myers. I got Bonner's in the house. We're on a well and a septic, so I use biodegradable in the house too. Also the soap I buy and the hand sanitizer I buy at Sprouts. They're both biodegradable. You want to make sure you have sunscreen, toothbrush, toothpaste. I'll just read all these real fast. Dental floss, Kleenex, tissues, toilet paper, baby wipes, towels. They come in real handy with a wet dog. Or if it's raining, or, you know, even if you're not planning on showering while you're out, it's good to have a towel. Shampoo, conditioner, a camp shower bag, and that's something, this backpack is always packed with, and I only use it when I'm on full hookups in a campground that has showers. But I got deodorant, I've got Listerine, toothpaste, toothbrush, shampoo and conditioner. That's the basics there. My comb, that's all in that front pocket. And then I have my towel. I have a pullover sundress thing that doesn't wrinkle. I got it in here, and my flip-flops in the big part. And I just take the backpack. I just grab it and go. It's all ready to go. It doesn't take me 5 minutes to decide to go take a shower, and that's it. Bought this backpack on my trip to Boston with my niece a couple of years ago. I didn't need another backpack, but it has this dog. It's the Puppy is Love one. And I thought, I'm just going to carry that. Kind of matches her vibe. So that sits on top of this Blue Eddy, and it's always there. So, and I can just grab it and go. I'll put my flip-flops on, but my shower ones are in there, and they're just little cheapies from Old Navy or something. Just those little cheap flip-flops. I got a hairbrush, of course, razors, deodorant, ear swabs, cotton balls, washcloth. That's in there too. A mesh shower caddy is in there, so I can hang it from the shower, and it carries the soap, and I can put those little things of shampoo and conditioner in there. And of course, hairbrush and comb and hair ties. For your clothing, your attire, the best thing is breathable. The wet, what do they call that, dry weave stuff. I use that for kayaking, mountain biking, e-bike riding, hiking. I have it in tank tops, short sleeve, long sleeve, zip-ups, pullovers. And really on the kayak, that's all I wear is the stuff that dries really quick. I have shorts and long pants. I have the long pants that zip off and become shorts. All that's great. And it's thin. It doesn't take up a whole lot of room. It even says breathable clothing, convertible hiking pants. Your base layers for warmth. I always do carry. I don't like the real thick base layers. If it's that cold, I'll put on. I have Alaska Arctic clothing, and I'll put that jacket on and my snow pants. I'm not out doing much with base layers, but I have the thin layers I do carry in here. Thick socks, your sleepwear, an outerwear, a really good jacket. Again, the course, we're hunters, so the scent lock stuff is really big with us, and we have a lot of the camo and different ones. So as I get new stuff, I've always got something in here. I always carry a insulated flannel shirt and a hoodie, so you can double those up. And sitting around the campfire, I have a jean jacket that's got the Sherpa lining, a Levi jacket type thing. I love those. Very retro. That's always in here. Then I take one of the hunting waterproof jackets, rain gear, sun hat or visor, swimwear, sunglasses, along with your outerwear, warm hat or beanie and gloves, and then your shower sandals, it mentions that, or flip-flops, rain boots, and hiking boots. Your cookware, you should always have a way to cook. Obviously, those butane little stoves are real popular. Of course, little Ruby, the camera's sitting on her pink vintage propane stove from 1958. So I cook inside. I also have the butane. I always set up an outside stove area. If we're going more than a couple days, I have the small Blackstone grill for traveling that I bought just for this trailer. So I have an area in the barn that's just camping stuff that goes in the back of my truck when this trailer is hooked up to it. So that's in that pile. And then on the back patio next to our Big Green Egg, we have a bigger Blackstone. Love those. So I try to cook outside, but if it's raining or something, or in the morning I make coffee. And then I use this stove. It also has an oven. And it's propane. So make sure your propane tanks are full. Portable coffee maker. I tend to, I don't do a lot of full hookups. And so I tend to think what I cook on the propane stove or over the fire. So I have one that I can throw over the fire on a grill or a wire rack. Then I have a percolator, a vintage one. I have a French press, and I have the ones where you put the coffee grounds in the top and the water perks up the middle, but it's all aluminum. Vintage too. I took it to the house to wash, but I think I brought it back down. Yeah. Oh no, it's still up there. So, yeah, but just various French presses work really good. If you have a pot, you can boil water. When it's just me, I tend to use the French press or my little percolator. I have a little one. I mean, it's little, but then I have one bigger. But even if John goes, by the time I do that and make 2 cups of coffee, and we're coffee drinkers. When I'm out camping, I'll drink 3 or 4 cups of coffee. I normally drink 2 or 3 at home anyway. So I prefer to get the big one going over the coals. It's big, and put it outside. I've done it in here, but it's been in so many campfires, it's nasty. I clean it all the time, but it's still pretty black. So some kind of camping or coffee pot, and then a windscreen if you're cooking outside. I have an extra one that came with one of my Blackstones. It came with my Blackstone table. They sent me an extra one, so I carry just that, and that works great around that butane little stove outside. And then firewood. Resealable plastic bags. I like the quart, the gallon, and of course I carry aluminum foil, so I like to carry heavy duty, kind of a small one, not the huge ones from Costco and Sam's. But I also like from the Dollar Tree those sheets, foil sheets. I get them there, and they have a thing called bonnets. So they're all plastic things that go over your food, over your bowls. So they're real handy, keep flies off of things, and if you have a little bit of leftovers, set them on top of the cooler, inside the cooler on the top. But it's just the easy way to cover stuff. And I carry all those things. Can opener, tablecloth and clips. I carry my own table. Even if a campground has a picnic table, I'll use it. So I do carry, it's not really plastic. I just get the paper ones from Dollar Tree. I do have the clips though. I carry my own, one of those white tables that folds up real small. That's always in the back of the truck. Plates, cups, and utensils, whether it's paper or Melmac. I prefer Melmac. I do have some paper. It is easy. If you got a campfire, you're able to burn your trash, then that's probably the way to go, and save your water and not be washing dishes all the time. If it's just me, I'll just wash my dishes. I'll cook soup and eat it out of the pan. I won't put it in a bowl. Now, John's with me. I don't do that, but I could. But we eat a lot of Mountain House meals, so I'm heating the water, and then we just eat those right out of their container. It's just easy, and we take those hunting anyways. We're used to them. We both have our favorites, so they have breakfast ones, and dinner, and of course lunch, usually sandwiches or dip and chips when we're out and about camping. Okay, knife. You want a good chef's knife. You want a paring knife. Probably a vegetable peeler. It's not actually on here, but I could see where that would come in handy. And then skewers or grilling tools, a cutting board, paper towels and napkins. So for cleanup, there's your cooking was the other one. The collapsible camp sinks if your rig doesn't have a sink. Eco-friendly dish soap, again biodegradable. Scrub brush and sponges, dish towels, a multi-surface cleaner, microfiber towels are handy, a travel laundry bag. I was going to grab that. It's in that area where I talk about, it's in the barn, in my little corner of everything that goes in the back truck. But it hangs on a hook, and it's a little mesh laundry bag. I used to keep it in here, but this summer I've got John's clothes in there too, so he can go camping because his trailer's being worked on, his hunting one. And so I took it out, and when we go camping, I can hang it. It hangs right here, because this has a metal bar in it, and it's got a hook like a hanger. So I can just push it, usually over to that side, but I can put our dirty clothes in it. I also do have a little pink laundry basket that I got too recently. So for me, that's kind of been my laundry basket, but again, with John, we need more clothes, so I'll usually let him use that one. And it can also hang from the hooks up front where his area is. A laundry bag or laundry basket if you're going to go to the laundromat. Don't really worry about that. I keep shopping bags in here for groceries too, and they have doubled. And that little hamper that I got actually would be what I would use now. It's got Rye's blanket in it, but got this at Target for like $3, and it collapses, except I have her blanket in it because I just washed it. So because when we're out camping and Rye's on bed, I just throw that blanket on top of her. Yeah, so that's handy. And $3 at Target, and I haven't had it that long. It was around Mother's Day when I saw these. And then almost done, portable clothesline, Eco laundry detergent. I carry a few laundry pods in here, along with a thing of quarters. Although now, the last time I had to use a laundromat at an RV park, I have a membership thing, an app now called Wash and Go, or Connect Wash and Go. And I even got credit on there because I put $20 on there and I didn't use it all. So like $10 on there. But not all places. That was in Arizona, in Casa Grande, at a very nice RV resort that I went to for a women's RV, 52U, women's RV, all about your RV maintenance thing that I went to. And that's their checklist too, which is pretty similar. It's just finer print. And so I'm reading off this other one. Okay, dustpan, garbage bags, broom. Did I say portable clothesline? And then the last two things that are still on the basics that have come in handy, especially if you're tent camping, a hammock, along with the chairs. You know, I take that lounge, but somewhere to just relax, especially if you're in a tent or in a car camping. A hammock's always nice. There's one in here. Glow sticks, emergency flare, a portable solar charger. Mine is in there by my e-bike battery. Just those little ones. You could charge a phone. I carry it with my e-bike in the pouch because I could charge my e-bike battery if I had to, and it is solar. It would take a while, but I could probably charge it enough to get it going again if the battery ran all the way down. A safety whistle, hiking poles. Again, I take those. They're usually in here, but because the closet space is premium right now. So that's the basics. Very rushed. I didn't really go into too much detail on stuff, but just the things that you would need. Think if you were to rent a vehicle, and things that you would need, that would be them. And it's just, kind of common sense. So you want to go out and enjoy yourself. I would add a few things. There was a can opener, but I would add a wine bottle opener. That's kind of a necessity for me. What was the other thing I thought of as we were going through this? Well, that was the biggie. There was something else kind of funny. Of course, I always have some dog treats, dog food. If you have pets, you want to make sure you have stuff for them. If you have kids, you want to have stuff for them too. Any medicines you take, make sure you have those. Those are basics. So this list was a one-page one. This one actually came from a place that rents RVs, and they put it in the RV, and they tell the people, you don't need everything on it, depending on what you're doing in the season. This is 9 pages. This is much more detailed. And even the one I have from 52U is, and this goes into hitching and dewinterizing too, but it's at least 3 pages. Very small print too. So, but yeah, it's good to have these things. You always, and you can Google. In fact, the one I have that's from the rental place is from Go RV Rentals, the 9-page one. It's very detailed, very good. And like I said, they give it to you and say, here, you're going to Yellowstone, and you're in Los Angeles, and you just picked up your rental RV. These are what we suggest you put in there. Sleeping bags, and, shoes for each person, and, this for each person, and, again, your medicines and stuff. You don't ever want to go anywhere without your prescription meds, for sure. So, anyways, I'm going to say bye for now. It's getting dark. I'm going to run up to the house. Ryan and I are actually going to sleep out here tonight. I did some changes to the bed, and I just want to try it out before we go camping next weekend. So, I did this first without her in here, and I had to move some stuff up there. And we'll see how it goes. But have a great weekend. Go camping, and you'll be prepared. Bye for now.